A Valley family making a renewed call for justice 6 years after a father was killed while on FaceTime with his young children. Thanks for being here for 12 News at 10. I'm Troy Hayden. Nick Cordova was killed inside his Gilbert air conditioning business. That was back in 2020. And there's yet to be an arrest in that case. 12 News journalist Maria Staub sat down with his widow. She marked the date today. And Maria, what's the story?
Well, Troy, his family spent today honoring his life, but they also say they're still waiting for justice. And that wait has only grown more frustrating with time.
I'm just really lost without him still.
On May 27th, 2020, Alicia Cordova lost her husband, Nick.
He just had like a heart of gold and the most beautiful smile.
The father of her children.
Yeah! I mean, such an amazing dad.
And her best friend.
You wanted to be around him, and he just made everyone's life better.
His final moments spent on FaceTime with their two kids before the call took a turn.
I heard sounds that's when I knew that something didn't sound right. I saw over the phone that there was like a black thing, which I now know was a gun.
She called 911, and police found 40-year-old Nick Cordova shot to death inside the business he built in Gilbert.
And I was terrified and just felt helpless because there was nothing I could do to help him.
6 years later, that feeling hasn't gone away. Still no clear motive and no arrests. Only surveillance video of a suspect without a name who police believe did not act alone.
I'm not going to stop until these men are behind bars.
On Wednesday, Gilbert police said they remain fully committed to pursuing every lead, but Alicia says she's running out of patience.
I don't know why it's taking so long.
So she's continuing to push for answers and keep her husband's case in the spotlight.
I have to be his voice because he doesn't have one, and I have to be advocating for him, and I'm exhausted.
Her plea now, the same as it was on day one.
If there is anyone that has any leads or any tips, or if you know anything, please just, I beg you to come forward. There's somebody that knows something that could tie this all together, and that's what we need for these arrests to be made.
Gilbert police say the case remains an active investigation. A $20,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. Anyone with information is urged to contact police or silent witness. We're live in studio, Maria Staubs, 12 News.
Yeah, that sure was clear surveillance video, Maria. Thank you for that. Hopefully somebody recognizes who that man is. Tonight we're tracking a brush fire that shut down State Route 87 north of Strawberry. This is about 2 hours north and east of the valley. Both sides of the highway are closed while crews work to contain the flames. We are working to learn the size of the fire. It appears to be along a remote part of the highway, away from any structures or communities. So we'll have updates on 12news.com and tomorrow on Today in AZ. New tonight, the father of a man who died on the Salt River over Memorial Day weekend is calling for change there, saying his son's death highlights a bigger problem on the river. 23-year-old Jason Blake Jr. swimming near Saguaro Lake when he went under the water and never came up. Deputies found his body yesterday morning near the Stewart Mountain Dam. His father says his son was a strong swimmer, and he hopes his death can prompt changes that save lives.
Just to know that how many deaths has happened on that same river, in that same scenario, but yet it's still open and people can still go there and swim and enjoy themselves, you know what I mean, or whatever. But understand it's a big state and it's a big recreation area, but if it's a known place where a lot of accidents and a lot of deaths have occurred, that needs to be dealt with, you know. Like, I don't want any other parent to have to deal with what I am.
Yeah, 2 drownings in one weekend. There are currents there are snags, there's all kinds of issues. Another man, 22-year-old Sarwa Sewa, also drowned in the river over the weekend. Deputies want to remind people, if you're going to be out there on a paddleboard or a tube, wear a life jacket. A Mesa couple behind bars tonight accused of a terrible crime, withholding medical care from their 22-month-old who then later died from those injuries. Mesa police say the child's mother, Artesia Baptist, and her boyfriend, Alexander Byrne, taken into custody on charges of murder and child abuse. Court documents say the child was injured April 3rd when Byrne gave the child an extremely hot bath and the child was burned. The medical examiner says the child suffered burns on more than 40% of its body and died 9 days later. Today, 12 News spoke to a neighbor who saw the couple being arrested.
I had seen, about 5, 6 undercover cars pull up, and, U.S. Marshals and everything. and they went upstairs, questioned people and whatnot, and to my knowledge, they had arrested the two. I would have took my child straight to the hospital, urgent care, something like that, just so that way my child is okay.
Yeah, and you think of the pain that baby went through over those days. Mesa police say the mother was fully aware of the child's injuries, but did not seek medical help out of fear that the Arizona Department of Child Safety might take the child. We continue to follow the Ian Mitcham murder trial, where today a judge declared a mistrial in the penalty phase of his case. The jury trying to decide whether or not he gets the death penalty. Mitcham, convicted of murdering Allison Feldman, a young woman in Scottsdale just starting out her life, had just bought her first home. Back in 2015, she was killed in that home. So he's facing either the death penalty, which has to be by unanimous decision by jurors, or life in prison. But the jury today said it couldn't reach a verdict. 12 News journalist Tiani Jadaling joins us live in Phoenix with legal experts telling you how this case is going to move forward. Tiani?
Troy, according to what legal experts tell me, this trial is not starting over. The sentencing phase continues. This just means a whole new set of jurors will be chosen to make the decision of whether Ian Mitcham will spend life in prison or receive the death penalty. After several days of deliberations between jurors deciding the fate of Ian Mitcham, the individual convicted for the murder of Allison Feldman, the judge declared a mistrial after jurors reached an impasse.
The jury has sent out a written message that they are at an impasse. They don't need any more clarifications, that nothing would resolve the impasse. So at this time, I am declaring a mistrial just as to count one in the penalty phase only.
This comes following several issues involving the jury panel. Tuesday, a juror was removed from the panel after making some sort of comment. But as to what could have led up to this decision, criminal defense attorney Hector Diaz says this.
That's the thing that jumps out to me in a case like this, that there was just, possibly something that they heard about Mr. Mitcham's life that they felt, might have been deserving of some kind of leniency, and then you had a group that maybe wasn't.
11 years ago, Mitcham never knew the Scottsdale woman, with prosecution calling this a crime of opportunity. It was DNA evidence that eventually linked the convicted felon to the murder scene. As for the decision of what will happen to Mitcham, Diaz says a whole new jury will be picked to help decide that.
There's a complete new jury that's going to be picked, and they will go and panel that jury. I imagine they're going to try to do this as quickly as possible.
Now, the county attorney's office is also left with the decision. They must decide whether to retry the penalty phase or agree to a life sentence rather than the death penalty. We did reach out to the county attorney's office for comment. They tell us at this time a decision hasn't been made. Now, the decision for the death penalty was only for count one, with experts telling us a mistrial for a case like this isn't normal, but it does happen.
I think they understand that, they're holding a person's life in their hands, and so it becomes something that, if you're not deliberating, I think it's very difficult to understand and get into the minds of a juror in terms of those, what they're weighing as leniency or what they're weighing as not leniency.
If the new jury happens to have a similar experience, Diaz explains the decision would then go to the judge. A judge will help decide those sentences tomorrow morning for other counts, including sexual assault and burglary. We'll have those details here on 12 News and 12news.com. Live in Phoenix, I'm Tiani Jadaling, 12 News.
Tiani, thank you. Also in court today, a jury found a man named Cujo Young guilty of armed robbery and attempted armed robbery, but this is part of a much bigger case. The 30-year-old now convicted of robbing a young woman named Mercedes Vega at gunpoint outside her Phoenix apartment in 2020. But then prosecutors claim Young murdered Vega in a high-profile case, so she couldn't testify against him in this initial robbery case. After today's court proceedings, Mercedes Vega's mother gave her reaction to this verdict.
It was just really great to see that someone who's done evil things for such a long time is finally going to actually have to pay for what they've done. That there is justice out there, even after 6 years of not feeling like there is. We're going that way.
Yeah.
So Young will now go on trial for charges related to Mercedes Vega's death, and that will come at a later date. Deputies in Yavapai County say they arrested two people after finding over 2,000 gallons of stolen diesel fuel. Diesel is pretty expensive these days. Investigators say this all started when a gas station in Seligman reported a significant amount of fuel was stolen last week, and a neighboring gas station was targeted that same night. Deputies then found this U-Haul with these two huge containers inside of it, diesel fuel leaking from a cargo area onto the street, and there were shoe prints that led directly into a nearby hotel room, where they arrested the two men. They're apparently out of Las Vegas. Officials now looking for a third suspect who may also have been involved. An Arizona man has died while climbing Mount Everest. It happened in the very short climbing season earlier this month. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra spoke with his climbing partner and shares how he's being remembered tonight.
A lifelong dream accomplished. 47-year-old Sandeep Are stood firmly on the summit of Mount Everest the morning of May 20th.
He was like super strong climber.
Sandeep is from India, but lived here in Arizona, where he once hiked the Grand Canyon rim to rim. His climbing partner, Tulasi Reddy, spoke with me from India. The pair spent more than a month together, making the tough trek to the top of Everest.
He got very much attached to Sandeep because he was his teammate and his best friend throughout his journey to summit for around 50 days.
A journey Sandeep spent years preparing for. His group said he had an unwavering passion for the mountains and accomplished climbing several other remarkable peaks in his life. But it was close to the Everest summit that Sandeep became overcome by snow blindness, a condition caused by overexposure to ultraviolet rays.
I said him into like, you go down please. He said, no, it's like only 1 hour to summit. I will do it. I will make it.
Sandeep reached the summit under harsh conditions, taking these photos to share with his family at home.
He was like happy, but like he was like on and off, like I can't see.
It was shortly into the descent that Sandeep's health deteriorated. He was carried to Base Camp 2, where he died. Reddy says Sandeep will be remembered for his strength, passion, and persistence with each expedition he conquered.
He's so kind, We missed him.
Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.